Alrighty, Mr. Gatekeeper, out here in the big peach state of Georgia. I have a very neat treat for you right here. Alrighty, this is a Texas Star, AB biased. I know it's up for debate amongst a couple of people if it's AB or B, but we're just going to say it's AB biased. Linear amplifier, DX250. Not a 250V, but a 250, DX250. Alrighty, as you see, it does not have a front on it, and the front is on the way from RF parts. Okay. A brand spanking new front bezel is on the way from RF parts, and I will slap her on there once the second she gets on before I ship it out. Alrighty. I had to do a lot of work to this amplifier. Okay. It appears that the person that had it before me, it looks like they might have been trying to convert it over to a 350, but they were not following the proper schematics. So I ended up having to change every silver dip mica in this thing. Let me point out here. I had to take out and replace the input cap, the output cap back here, both the 330s, the cap on the input transformer, had to put this metal clad on the output transformer, had to replace these feedback circuits. Okay, this blue cap right here, they had a 330 silver dip mica there for some reason. That's supposed to be a .01, that blue cap right there. This blue cap right here was some humongous cap. Replaced these two little thin wires. I really don't like the way they come factory like that. I replaced that with two Teflons. Went ahead and grounded both SO239s. Okay. The input transformer only had 2 wraps around it. Went ahead and put 3, taking it back to factory specs. Alrighty, these are 2 brand spanking new Toshiba 2290s. Went ahead and threw them in there because this definitely was a good box, good enough to throw 2 brand new transistors in. You'll see why here in a minute. Went ahead and replaced the power and the ground wire, put a little RF choke on it right there. Took this whole board completely out of the box, cleaned the whole box, cleaned the heat sink, cleaned the board, all the flux off the board. You're looking at about 4 or 5 hours just in cleaning this thing, man. Put 4 brand new caps, light covers. The 3 that were on there, this didn't even have a light cover or a bulb. The 3 that were on there was so wore off that you couldn't even see it. There was no letters on them, period. I mean, somebody had they had got their money's worth out of this amplifier. So they put 4 new covers and a new bulb in this one. Alright. Next, last but not least, something I had designed and been wanting to try for a while. A remote feature. This is just as test, just to show you as test, okay? This is just to show you as a test. This is my little test thingamajigger I made there to test remotes out. There's a remote jack on the back of this, as you see. We got ferrite beads on all the positive wires. It's carrying DC positive DC volts. Keep the RF off those lines. Utilized with this relay right here. Had to use this relay. Alright, let me explain how this remote works. Has any of you ever owned a Texas Star and possibly had a fan on it? You know, had a fan on the bottom of it or something. And just get sick and tired of you having to go to the back of your trunk or the back of your car and turn that cotton picker off every time you get done using it. Well, that's why I designed this little modification here. The way this modification works is you leave your power button pushed in all your settings the way you want. Let's say you want to run it like this right here, since that's the way we're going to be testing it. Okay, first, this is the low setting. It's got 4 power settings. Let's say you were wanting to run like this right here. Okay, you would leave the amplifier in this position, and as you see the remote here, okay, yeah, this would be backwards, that would be on, that would be off. Okay, don't worry about that right there. Alright, now I'm going to flip the amplifier on. Boom. You see? Flip it back off. Boom. Alright, flip it on. Boom. Alright, to show that this is turning this amplifier on and off. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Alright, we're going to turn it off. Oh, and we're now barefoot. Alrighty, to let you go ahead and know, we're going to be putting about 20 watts into this. So this amplifier now has a remote feature. Okay. Now the only negative thing about this feature is that you cannot use your preamp when you are using this remote. You can only use the preamp when the remote is turned on. If this was a DX250V, I would be able to set this up and use this other side of the of this relay to where the preamp can be used. Okay, but because this extra switch is here and is covering the trace I would need to get to, basically you just would not be able to use your preamp. Okay, which, you know, a lot of people don't use preamps anyway, so it ain't that big of a deal. Okay, so that's the only negative thing about this remote feature with this particular amp. Okay, alrighty, we're going to go ahead and flip this cotton picker on. Alrighty, it's got 4 power settings. Okay, this is the low setting. Let's turn this down to about 13.9. Hell, that's fine. Alrighty. Alright, about 60 to 80 watts. 60 to 80 watts. Take a look at the input tune. 10 watts slug. 10 is 10 watts. 40 is 4. Beautiful tune. I actually individually tuned the input and output of this amp just to be safe for optimal tuning. Alrighty, that was super low. Here is low. SSB switch in. Alrighty, about 130. Flip this out, flip this in. This is kind of like, this is medium. Alright, about 180 to 190. Oh dear. And this relative output's pretty close, actually. Alright, we're going to high. Let's let you see the dead key. 40 watt dead key. Audio. Alright, about 230 watts. 230 watts. Let's go ahead and increase the voltage to about 15.3. Alright, about 270 watts. 270 watts. These are 2SC 2290Bs. Okay, these are the newest 2290s, which they seem not to be as strong as the regular 2290s and the 2290As. But man, I mean, you're getting close to your 250 on just 13.8 volts. You hit it with a little bit bigger radio, you'll be able to get this thing up to 300 to 350 plus. You know, when you're hitting it with a little bit stronger radio. We're just hitting it with a simple bench radio that's just got the modulation turned up 100%. Limiters all in. If I hit it with this big hot radio right here, it would be up to around 350 mark or so. Okay. Let me show you the amperage swing on this thing to show y'all this thing is not over modulating on full power. You see the amperage here. Okay. You see it's dead key in about 15 amps. Now watch this. Oh, see that forward swing? That should let you see this thing is not over modulating at full power. Here's the reflect at full power on 15.3 volts, which will probably be a little bit more than the first at low power. It's still good though. See, in between the 20 and the 0 is 1 watt, so you're looking at like 150, maybe 200 milliwatts, which is nothing. You're looking at a 1-to-1 perfect input tune on this thing. And I notice when I hit this thing with a bigger radio, that needle will go to about in between the 8 and the 10. You know, that's just for reference there. So like I said, this thing is modified. And you know, let me go ahead and show you here. We're working this just as if you were running the remote. It's plugged in here. Okay. Plugged in. Off. On. Turn this thing off, just like you're running barefoot, just like if you flip this switch off, even though the switch is still flipped in. Alright, I'm going to unplug it. And you're back to normal operation. You're back.